Friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Summertime is upon us. Let's go. At least if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I guess winter time is upon you. But anyway, where I'm at, summertime. Summertime means vacations, the beach, the ocean. And what would work well there? Tropical fragrances. That's what we're talking about here today. We got 10 different tropical scents, both niche and designer, really cheap ones and more expensive ones. So a wide range to choose from. All of these gonna have you smelling absolutely killer with a tropical, beachy kind of vibe. You guys, I'll have these linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And if you shop at Sol Avant-Garde, Twisted Lily, Lucky Central, Max Aroma, pause the video, here's some codes. Save yourself some money with these, boys. Now the fragrances are gonna be in no particular order here today. Some of these are gonna be more tropical leaning, like more tropical fruits. Others are gonna be a little more beachy, more like a very fresh vacation scent. But all of these, tip-top magoo. All right, let's get it kicked off with one from Abercrombie and Fitch. It is First Instinct. Feels like just yesterday this fragrance came out and hit discounters and was really cheap and was being hyped as a great cheapie. Those days are gone. That said, it still is a great cheapie, and it does have a tropical kind of flair to it. When you first spray it on, it's got a melon note, not melanoma, but a melon note that mixes together with gin and tonic and smells really great. It's got a nice zing to it, a unique kind of sweetness and freshness, and actually, for an inexpensive designer scent, First Instinct is pretty unique. It's also a fragrance that has great versatility. It doesn't come across too bubblegummy sweet or overly youthful or anything, so a wide age range can pull this one off very easily. First Instinct, a great pickup for both spring and summer, but specifically if you're looking for a nice vacation scent, if you're going to an island or the beach or something like that. After that one, let's take a look at some of the most obvious ones. Now this is a twofer, so it's two fragrances for one spot on this list, and you'll see why. It is Creed Virgin Island Water, but also Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's. So if you have a lot of money to spend, Virgin Island Water. If you don't have as much money to spend, Set Sail St. Bart's. These two have been compared for quite a while, and it makes sense why. They're both in a similar style. They don't smell like a one-to-one of each other, but you could use this one as an alternative to this one and save quite a lot of money. The St. Bart's over here, very cheap. It is an eau de cologne though, so keep that in mind. It's not gonna last a really long time. That being said, because it is cheap, spray it on like a monster. Just douse yourself on this stuff. Spray it in your clothes and your hair, doesn't matter. Spray it a bunch. I did take this one with me on vacation once, down to St. Petersburg, St. Pete Beach in Florida. And man, I just went ham with the trigger. I was like hitting myself 25, 30 times. Worked great. Then Virgin Island Water from Creed, obviously much more expensive, as I said. It is gonna be a little higher quality. It's gonna have a little more depth to it, a little more nuance to it, but you have to decide if the difference in cost is worth it to get Virgin Island Water over St. Bart's. Both of these fragrances are gonna give you a great citrus opening, a little bit of a sea saltiness, an aquatic vibe, and also a bit of booze in there as well. If memory serves correctly, rum in Virgin Island Water and tequila in St. Bart's. Since we're talking about booze, let's hop over to the next fragrance, Pepe Jean's Cocktail. So this one has grapefruit, ginger, and yuzu, along with a little bit of woodiness in there. And it is one that you definitely want to pick up for a lower price. Sometimes it won't be in stock at all discounters, but it is one of those fragrances that does come back into stock with regularity. So if it's sold out, just wait a little bit, don't pay too much for this one. But as long as you pick it up on the cheap, it is a very appealing citrus forward fragrance with a fresh, modern, woody base. The performance in it is all right, and it makes a really nice daytime fragrance if you're lounging around where it's nice and warm out. Part of me hates the bottle and thinks it's tacky, and part of me really loves the bottle and thinks it's cool. So I'm split. I do dig the gradient though, going from yellow up to blue there. A solid citrus fragrance that you want to pick up for around 30 bucks or less if possible, and a great vacation scent. Let's follow that one up with Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Yeah, this stuff rocks for a summertime vacation. Yeah, really good. Makes use of star fruit off the top, which is Not to say that it doesn't have citrus, because it absolutely does. It's just the star fruit gives it a different, interesting kind of nuance off the top there. It has woods as the fragrance dries down, along with some aromatics and a slightly watery undertone, a little bit of an aquatic flair in there. Versace Mano Fresh, a fragrance that does get a lot of wear from people out there during the summer, but for good reason. This stuff works extremely well. Let's hop back to a niche one up next with Atelier Desor Riviera Sunrise. And with Atelier Desor, you can pretend that you're very fancy and kind of shake the bottle up and let all those gold flakes spin around in the bottle, and maybe when you spray yourself, you'll get some gold flake on your skin because you're fancy. You wear gold because you're rich. I don't know. This one is really nice if you like citrus. There's a bunch of citrus off the top, orange being the most prominent citrus note in here, and the way it comes across is quite sweet, almost like a candy, like an orange candy or an orange popsicle or something like that. It also has like a softness around the edges from orange flower, so orange flower mixing with orange. Little fig in there, basil as well, gives it a green touch. Smells absolutely amazing. I will say that it's unisex, and if you were gonna say it leans one way or the other, it leans a little bit more feminine than it does masculine. But again, I think it's completely unisex. You can easily pull this off as a guy. And I bought my bottle from Fragrance Buy, full presentation, for about 110 bucks. And I think for the quality of this fragrance, for that price point, it's a really good buy. So this one right here, gonna be higher quality as far as the citrus goes than all the ones that we've talked about so far. Let's go back to a designer with a Boss Bottled Pacific. Pretty simple note breakdown here, and it's not something that's crazy unique at this point, but it just smells good and it works well. One of the first things you'll pick up from this, whether you're just smelling from the atomizer, spraying it on your skin, spraying it on a tester strip, is coconut. It also has a sea salty aquatic vibe to it. It's got cashmere in there, some woody notes that give it a little green edge, and also a touch of citrus. But it's really, as I said, all about that coconut. It might remind you a little bit of something like Fusion DC from Issey Miyake, but I do think between the two, that Boss Bottled Pacific is going to be the better summertime fragrance. It's a great scent for just casual use or, of course, on vacation. And this is one that surprised me a lot. I didn't expect too much from this. And even though, as I said, it maybe is a little simple for some people, I think it's extremely wearable, smells great. Since we're talking coconut, up next, Le Beau from Jean Paul Gaultier. Coconut, tonka, and bergamot notes in the fragrance. Does take on a vanilla sort of sweetness as it dries down. And one thing I'll tell you about this, it is a massive compliment puller, way more so than I expected when it first came out. So this released in 2019, and when I first tried it, I wasn't immediately like blown away by the fragrance itself. And then as I wore it more, people just love this stuff, like they're drawn to it. And the way the coconut is used here, especially when it first came out, to be fair, quite unique. The bottle also looks really good, and they even give you a little leaf to cover up his package. Let's see, where from there shall we go? This one, Still Life in Rio from Olfactive Studio. Yeah, this stuff is really good. It is one that sometimes is sold out, unfortunately, but Fragrance Buy typically has this in stock for around 105, 110 bucks. Obviously, my bottle is an old bottle that has this like tape style of label on the front here. They've changed the whole bottle design. It looks different. Everything about it looks different other than the shape. But yeah, you can usually find this for a pretty good price when it's in stock. Now, this is going to be a booze-soaked citrus fragrance. A lot of these have boozy notes to them, but most of the time, the citrus, the fresh notes, they're kind of more prominent than the booziness. But with this one, they're more on equal footing. Gives it a really, really nice scent profile though. It's still fresh, but it has a little more sweetness than maybe you might be accustomed to with most tropical style scents. And that gives it a little more heft, a little more body to it. Like there's a touch of syrupy sweetness to it. And then that freshness kind of boosts up the syrup so it doesn't become too heavy or cloying. Love the fragrance. Still Life in Rio smells awesome. Let's go cheap with the next one. Azaro Solarisimo Maritimo. Has on the back here a few notes: lemon, calypsone, and cedarwood, because I bought a tester. So I actually like pretty much the whole Solarisimo line for being cheap summertime scents that are hidden gems, essentially. Some of them have been a little harder to find here lately, but this one you still can find right around $20 to $22. So what are we working with here? Well, we have those notes I just gave you, along with some citron and the opening. So you've got lemon and citron working together there. You also have a watery, sea salty kind of vibe on the cleaner side of things, on the cleaner, sweeter side of things, as compared to the more dank, seaweedy side of a sea salty note. And then you have clean vetiver as the fragrance dries down. It really is one of those beachfront kind of fragrances. It has just the right amount of classiness to it, just a touch, so that it doesn't come across too cheap, too immature, if you want to call it that, while still having enough sweetness that it has a little playful edge to it. Really inexpensive, as I shared before, so you can go pretty heavy with this one if you wanted to make up for any potential shortcomings with performance. And also, the bottle looks pretty sweet. With the last one, let's go with BDK Parfums Citrus Riviera. So we got Riviera Sunrise from Atelier Desor, and then we have Citrus Riviera here. Very clean and green, along with a little bit of neroli and citrus in there, fig as well. Of course, another fragrance that makes use of aquatic notes, because if you're talking about a fragrance that's gonna be a tropical, beachy type scent, chances are it's gonna have at least some sort of aquatic feel, even if it's not an official note. Here it is, an official note though. And then you have some interesting notes in there that you don't see quite as often. Things like eucalyptus and strawberry, for example. All of that combines here to make a fragrance that is an extremely versatile and wearable blue fresh scent. It has also drawn some comparisons to Mandarino di Amalfi from Tom Ford. So if you like that fragrance or fragrances in that style, you will likely enjoy this one as well. And even though I didn't feature any of those Tom Ford fragrances in this video, I do want to give them a quick shout out. Neroli Portofino, Costa Azzurra, Mandarino di Amalfi, all of those, along with a number of flankers of those and other scents in the line actually, would work really well for the same situation that these would. So those fragrances also kind of like a bonus of sorts, they would work here too. So there we go guys, some beachy, tropical type choices for men's fragrances for this summer. Let me know what you're looking forward to wearing too if you do plan a trip to the beach, to the ocean, to an island, wherever. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.